time, your energy,
My
your
time,
effort,
my
mindset.
energy, my money, everything, my mindset, which is the most important.
Welcome to the Not For Nothing podcast, the place where ideas unfold and conversations take flight. Topics such as relationships, everyday life struggles, and more with your hosts, Christopher Michael and Robert Evan. So what's going on, everybody?
Hey, what's up?
Back here with OneMightyMama
Good to be back.
and the Mister. What's up? What's everybody been up to? How's the family?
Everything's good. I mean, besides the whole broken toe, everybody's good.
What'd you do? How'd you do it?
So I was doing shoulder presses and with a friend, and he said, "Don't grab my weights. I'll be right back." Well, my dumbass doesn't listen to him. I go and literally it was above my head. So I go and grab the weight. I thought I had the 45 pound plate secured. Yeah. Obviously, I didn't. And once I popped it out of the bar, it went boop right on my toe. And I kid you not, my body was so in shock. There was no words coming out of my body. Everybody's like, "What happened? What happened?" And I'm like, a plate just fell on my toe. And he's like, "Elevate your foot." And as soon as I took the sock off, I mean, there was like blood gushing everywhere.
Did you split it?
No, thank God I didn't split it. No, I just fractured the top of my toe.
Oh, that had to
And
hurt.
then yesterday they took the nail completely off because it was being infected. So nailless now. Thank God I'm married. You imagine that nasty ass toe, single, like, "Hey guys."
Yeah.
My friend calls me Toezilla.
Toezilla? Yeah, definitely not selling pictures on, what is it, Feet Finder?
Feet Finder. Hey, listen, some guys are into that shit.
Yeah, there might be a market for that.
Yeah, like the nastier the feet, the better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know, Danielle. I thought you were stronger than that. Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Is this like what you do?
Better step up those shoulder presses.
I gotta get stronger, right?
That's right.
Oh, man.
So what else is new? How the kids?
Kids are good.
Good?
Yeah. Pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Like always, yep.
What are the ages again?
They are 18, 16, 12, and 11. And 10, sorry. Oh, my God.
18, 16, 12, and 10?
Yeah.
So the 18 and 16-year-old, the 12 and 10-year-old boys or girls?
Boys. And the two oldest are girls.
So I feel like, and I don't have kids, but the 10-year-old and the 12-year-old, was it different than the way the girls were, where there's like just so much angst and like anger when they're like, I feel like between 12 and 15 is when they're just angry at the world.
They know it all.
Yes. You can't tell them anything. And like, I was not far off, but I feel like 10-year-old and 12-year-old boys are just so much easier.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because girls will fuck you up like emotionally.
Yep.
Boys will just break stuff. But girls, it's like they know what you don't like about you, and they will expose that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially when you say emotionally, it was funny because when he found out that I found out first that my 18-year-old had a boyfriend, it was like a different facial expression.
I freaked out.
Did you really?
How'd you handle it?
What did you say to her?
She still hasn't basically told me.
So you know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
But she doesn't know you know.
She knows I know now. But we sat down and talked in the car, and she's like, "He wants to meet you." I said, "Hell no."
No.
Hell no, I ain't meeting.
That's not a bad thing, because you could have some scumbag kid. The fact that he wants to meet you, I guess it's not the worst.
At least he's manning up.
Yeah.
You know.
And my daughter's like, "It's gonna be the most awkward moment in my life for you to meet him."
It's true. What do you say? As a mom and a dad, you're gonna go meet her boyfriend. Like, I know what you guys are doing. Like, do not lie to me, okay? I was once 18.
Right.
Don't sit here and say you guys just hold hands. Like,
no,
you know?
I mean, the whole thing is she's 18. So, I mean, you could just tell, listen, you're 18, enjoy yourself and
respect yourself.
When it's serious, and you're really considering something, then you can introduce me to someone you're dating.
I'm super real with them. I tell them the way it is. They want to be in your pants. I'm straight up with them.
Oh, of course. We're guys. We know how. I know what I was like when I was 18 years old.
But some parents are not like that. They're not going to tell their kids the way it is. You know?
Right.
We always do.
No, you don't want, especially your daughters, you don't want them to learn the hard way.
No.
You know, because it's like a violation.
And it's crazy. The boys, we let them do whatever the hell we want.
I know.
So to your point, it is different. It very much so is different.
What's the difference, though, from when the girls were, because it's about the same age, 12 and 10, versus the boys being 12 and 10? What's the biggest contrast that you guys see? Like the biggest difference when the girls were that age that the boys are now? I'm assuming still easier with the boys.
Oh
though,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, because I feel like boys mature when they're older, if they ever mature.
Oh,
Men grow older, they don't grow up.
Yep.
And so the girls, like, I'll give you an example. The boys, they're stuck in like tits and buttholes and
All
stuff
day.
like that all day. You don't hear a little girl who's that age, 10, 12, saying, oh, butthole this, fart this. Like, it's just very different. You know what I mean?
Right.
At any age, right?
Yeah, guys just, they hit puberty and they're horny all the time.
The guy, it has a pulse.
Yeah. And now with the internet, I mean, we didn't really have it like that when we were younger.
No.
You're watching scrambled porn on paper.
Yeah.
I know. Remember that, like
The black box.
Remember the black box?
Yeah,
Or the, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Those things were awesome.
What, the Spice Channel?
We get
Yes.
Yeah.
like the penthouse station.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Well, yeah, that's the closest we get to is like a Playboy centerfold,
Yeah, you had to go buy a magazine like a pervert.
Yeah, but that's why, and even if you think about it, that's why like the Playboy centerfolds from back then are so well known.
Oh hell yeah!
Like today, they're not really that well known because they're so easily accessible,
Right.
and there's so fucking many of them.
Absolutely.
You don't even know who they are. They're like a dime a dozen now.
Yeah.
Back then,
Very
they'd
true.
only issue one magazine every
Yep.
month, and so there were 12 a year. Now, forget
you get
about it.
excited.
They have a whole site.
Miss
dedicated
June.
to it. I know. We had a girl on previously who does Playboy. She was on Playboy,
Yeah, really?
but I would have never known. Like, and it's not an insult to her,
Nah.
just because it's so frequent now.
Yeah.
All these sites. It's crazy. There's no like. Nobody has notoriety anymore. It's just you're either you stand out from everybody else or you just kind of blend in with everyone, and then nobody knows you.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like what is it called, the OnlyFans, right? How that's so super popular and people are all over it. You make easy money, and I mean it's still a job though, so I don't kind of do
No, but it's so competitive now,
Yeah.
and it's just the market saturation for it, right? We've talked about it in a few episodes,
Right.
But the idea of just supply and demand, right? Like, well, men are for the most part driving this. But if you're going out and you're creating an OnlyFans, if there's 7,000 other women within a 20-mile radius, whatever it is, I'm using hyperbole, but if you have all that, like, it's also difficult to kind of get that off the ground. It's difficult to stand out. So if they can find success in doing it,
It's
make
awesome.
your money.
No, it's amazing some of the income that these girls make. I mean,
Oh my god.
so we've been talking about this. So like the one thing that I don't like, and to Robbie's point, what he was just saying. So obviously, guys, there's a demand for it, right? Guys perpetuate the existence of all of these sites because if we did, then they wouldn't exist, right? Because they're primarily hosted by women and they're viewed by men. So the thing that I take like an issue with is like the men who are extremely hypocritical, right? And then they'll bring these women onto a show or they'll go online and troll them and just demean and demoralize them for doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, why? Like, you never know why someone's doing something for one. You're the one perpetuating it because without guys demanding it, they wouldn't have a platform to do it.
Right.
So, like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think the girl should be shit on for taking that career path?
Depends.
I'm curious. What is it depend? Like for you, what does it depend on?
I don't know. There's better ways of making money, I would say. And once you lose that, you don't have anything left. Just
What do you mean, like?
your body, your
Right.
beauty, all that. Once it's gone,
Right.
what are you gonna do?
It's not for forever.
No,
Yeah.
it's not for forever. So you don't think like, but I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's their own person,
Yeah.
right? So I guess I'm more saying like, listen, you don't have to agree with what somebody does, but you don't have to pass judgment on them either.
No.
So you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like, listen, you get it. You don't agree with them, but do you need to go online and completely berate
No.
and just completely dehumanize them?
That's it.
No, you don't have to do that.
And like and your point, like you were saying, and it's all the guys that are watching it
Right.
degrading the women that they're watching.
Right.
Yeah. So it makes no sense.
The
No,
hypocrisy.
it's wild.
Yeah.
You look like you got big feelings on this.
Speak up, mighty mama.
That's with everything, though. I mean, anything you put out there on social media, you're gonna have at least one person give their opinion on it, right? Whether it's bad or good. But there's always someone out there behind the screen. What do you call it, baby? Telephone tough guy.
Yeah.
So, right.
That are always oh, let me go say something, but say it to my face. I want you to,
They write like a manifesto about everything that's wrong with it. And it's like, dude,
just,
you can have your opinion, just don't watch it.
yeah.
Just like
Exactly. Move on. Skip the reel. Go, like, why do you have to say something hateful for? But that to me goes back to insecurities.
Yeah.
You're only saying that because you're insecure with how you feel about yourself. So
Agreed.
keep it to yourself. Don't put that comment for what? Was it gonna make you happy?
Right.
Oh, I wrote this. Let me see what she said.
Yeah.
Like, well, F you, because I'm not gonna say anything back to you. So
Well, that's the crazy thing. Most of these people do it because they're looking for a reaction.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So that's why
They're lonely.
that's why they troll you. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like these are the people that would never say anything to your face, right?
Yep.
Like they simply hide behind the curtain because that's the only way that they're willing to
Mhm.
engage.
Yep.
If you call any of them out, they're cowards, right?
Yeah.
So like somebody came on and started saying something. We were talking about abortion, and the guy had this real crazy view. Obviously, he was pro-life,
Yeah.
and which is fine, but like just the off and out of left shit that he was saying, and I was like, dude, if you really want to, like, how about this? Come on to the podcast. I said,
Yeah.
if you really want to have a conversation, no problem, man. I said, I'll give you the platform. Since you say that I'm only catering to these people, you're welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
So I sent it to him. I even DM'd him. And sure enough, he
Nothing.
nothing.
of course
Nothing.
not.
It's that famous saying Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan till they get punched in the face.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As soon as they get called out
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah.
they cower. It's
Yep.
like they only want to be able to say something when they can hide behind
Yep.
the internet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It's
It
sad.
is the worst part of the internet.
Oh, yeah, it is.
is.
Absolutely.
And you know, you deal with it too. I'm sure you guys, especially on your page, just dealing with the minutia, dealing with the bullshit. And it's like, again, you know, we have our opinions on things. We don't necessarily agree on everything. We agree on a lot of shit, which it is what it is. Like, you know, maybe it's just raised in similar locations, parents
Right.
had similar values, whatever it is. But it's fine if you don't agree. Like, that's totally cool. Like,
Right.
that's what makes this country so
Yep.
amazing. You don't have to agree with everything. In
Right.
fact, you can disagree on most things, if not everything. But I just can't stand those comments when it's like, no, this is how it is. It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, that's not how dialogue works.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's not how
Yep.
engagement works. That's not how a conversation works.
Yeah.
Imagine going through life and you go to the grocery store and like, yeah, that's 1719. Fuck you, it's not. It's like,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
it's not how this works. Like, it's not a negotiation.
Right.
Sometimes it is, though. And for better or worse, if you don't agree with us, honestly, those are probably more engaging conversations because, you know, hey, I agree with you. Cool. It's like,
No, I mean, listen, but that's the whole thing. People can agree and still have a good dialogue, right? Because at the end of the day, you need agreeable people to try to, and I don't want to say persuade somebody to come over, but if somebody has a real skewed way of looking at something,
Mhm.
you need a collective, agreeable group of people to try to push people over to a certain side, especially if you're trying to convince them that maybe how they're looking at something is wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not to say that it is, but, you know, sometimes people do have fucked up views.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you want to try to show that to them. So you need to hear two rational, agreeable people kind of have a dialogue between themselves. They can't, every time, if you're always having a conversation in disagreement, you never get really through to anybody because you always got one person taking the side or that side, and it just never gets anywhere.
And that's what's happening with our country right now.
Right.
You Democrat or you Republican?
Oh, I know. We're so
Dude,
split.
bro,
You
it's
can't have-
crazy.
God forbid you
Wow.
got you say
Opinion.
you're moderate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you feel one way on one thing. Like, I'll put it out there right now. I have no problem. I am pro-choice. I'm also pro-gun. You want a gun?
Yeah.
So you have a right ideology and a left ideology, but God forbid you don't. Well, you're right.
Yeah.
You got to agree. No,
No.
like that's not how it works. And I've gotten into so many arguments with so many people regarding their political stance and going to what you said. I like when we get into a conversation, argument, whatever you want to call it. I've never gone into it thinking like, oh, I'm going to change this person's mind.
Yeah.
Like I don't plan on doing it. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is try and understand your point of view.
Mhm.
That's all I want to do.
Right.
Because then maybe I can take out like, oh, you know what? That is a good point. That makes sense. But you have, again, you know, these telephone tough guys who hide behind these keyboards, hide behind their monitors, and you make a comment and you try and engage in conversation. And we've seen time after time, and I'm sure you've seen it countless times. Nope, this is how it is.
Yep.
Then why comment? Like,
Exactly.
Just let's not waste each other's time. If we can't have a dialogue, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't waste my time.
No, they'd rather come on and try to insult. Like, that's what they do,
No.
right? If you get back into a corner, they throw out insults.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or
dude,
they
that-
keep changing their point.
Yeah, it's like if that's the only thing you could do, then don't even come on, right? Like I don't want like somebody. I had to threaten to block somebody off the page recently,
Oh, I blocked many of people.
Well, because the guy was engaging with somebody else, and I saw the conversation. He said something about his kids, and I said, "Listen, here's the deal, dude. If you mention anyone's kids or family again in the comments, I'm going to block you from the page."
Yeah.
He basically goes, "Fine, block me. Your content sucks anyway."
Yeah.
I was like, "Listen, I already told you what's going to get you blocked, so say what you want. But until then, you're welcome to create a dialogue with anybody you want." Sure enough, he never responded to anyone again.
Of course he didn't.
So, well, yeah, it's like scumbag things like that.
You deal with that shit though, right?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's very annoying. I've blocked multiple, I was going to say, but way more than that. Because it's just a continuous thing. Like, you comment one time, and it's a hate comment.
Right.
It's nothing that you're supporting me, showing me love. It's a hate comment, and then it just continues on. Another hate comment, another hate comment. It's like, I'm not going to take that from you. You know what I mean? If you don't like what I put out there, then don't follow me. Why are you even
Scroll up.
taking
Yeah.
time?
Next reel, next story.
Swipe.
Exactly. Why are you taking time out of your day to even write a hate comment?
Yeah.
Keep it moving. You know what I mean?
There's some comments where I'm like, this isn't going to go anywhere.
When it comes to a hate comment, why even waste your time?
No.
No,
There's
the whole
it's
thing.
going to go back and forth. For what?
Right.
For that person to be right?
So
I don't even want to be right.
No,
Exactly.
I'm
Right.
to that age
Yeah.
now. I don't want to be right. I want to be happy.
Yeah,
You
I
argue with
absolutely
me
fucking love that
all
quote.
day.
God, I love that
Fight
quote.
with me all day. You're right. My
Right.
line is, you may be right.
Right.
So I walk away. You may be right. So that I
But you
can't
could
be
even
faster.
comment like that. Like, this is the whole thing. The unfortunate side of it is, of course, there's always some people you don't want to
Yeah.
respond to. But it's not even so much the algorithm and stuff like that for the social media sites. It's that sponsors want to see engagement,
Yeah.
right? Because
Right.
everybody, because they got hip to it, right? Like,
Yeah.
they know people can buy followers. They know all that. So they don't really care. Like, that's one half of the puzzle. The other half is, and they put a lot of emphasis on it, they want to see, whether it's bad or good, you connecting with the viewers.
Yeah.
And they do. They say, haters pay the bills.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to engage with everybody, unfortunately. And that's not to say you have to have a 30-minute long conversation going back and forth, but you got to give the time of day to people to be fair to everybody, right? Until they get out of line, and then you just kind of cut the cord, and that's it. That's the end of it.
And perfect example is Floyd Mayweather, right?
Oh, dude, look how much people hate that guy. And look how rich they made him.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's
I used to get his fights wanting to see him lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
And at
what
the
he
end of
did.
the day, he never did, and he got all my money.
Yeah.
Every
Fucking
penny.
wins.
Yeah.
Like, he wins.
That's like Michael Jordan and Kobe with their arrogance. I used to hate Jordan. He was so damn good.
I
And I was a Knicks fan. So
right.
Ewing and him, and it was
Yeah.
terrible. The Knicks to this day haven't won a championship.
Nope.
Yeah, so I used to get so pissed, and now I look back and I see what a legend he is.
Yeah, he was.
And but
You're
you
like, fuck.
you love to hate him because he was so damn good.
he changed the sport.
Yeah, he did.
He really
was,
did.
He was amazing.
I was
Yeah.
watching a video the other day, and it was another podcaster from New York, from the city, and he was saying how New York City would just lose their minds if the Knicks won a championship.
Yeah.
Like, the city is not ready for the Knicks to be,
Nah.
like, NBA champions. I think we're not there yet.
We're ready for it. We're ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm actually a New York fan and everything but football.
But football.
Really?
I'm a Dallas fan of football, yeah.
So
How'd
is
that go
he-
last week?
So it broke my heart.
I actually
It was actually, I'll be honest with
Yeah.
you, it was like a bittersweet. It was actually refreshing to me to actually see the defense drop the ball instead of my
Yeah.
offense. I mean, seriously.
That happens to you guys all the time.
It's
though.
always the playoffs.
All the
I
time.
gotta say, I was
Yeah.
really, it was nice to not see Dak fuck the whole game up.
Yeah.
It really was.
You guys always have a glimpse of hope, like we're gonna
I
win
know, I
this
know.
with this first playoff game,
Well,
and then
Unlike these Jets fans out there.
Oh, damn.
Ugh.
well, they didn't even make the playoffs.
They haven't been in the playoffs since 2010 against Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Wow.
Isn't that sick?
Damn.
What year were you born?
90.
90? I think she was 1 the last time Dallas won anything.
I don't care. Dallas has 6 Super Bowl rings. How many did the Jets?
That's great 30 years ago.
1996.
What have you done for me today?
When's the Jets' last Super Bowl?
I won.
When?
I'm not a Jets fan. Go fuck yourself.
when was the Giants' last one?
2011.
Oh, you getting up there, buddy?
Yeah, it's in this century.
Almost the same.
In this century.
Yeah.
That's when they.
You're in a
First
different
off,
millennia.
a century is 100 years, so no, it's not. But okay,
Okay, 1900 versus 2000.
let me just fact check you on what a century is real quick.
Thanks.
You meant to say within the decade.
No, I meant to say in the millennia of the 1900s.
Well, millennia. I don't know about that, Robbie.
Don't think too
All
hard.
right. You're the one that said century. No, we're keeping all that.
I have no problem saying that the Dallas Cowboys are not relevant, and watching them lose on Sunday gave me a hard on.
Of course, because you're a Giants fan.
Yeah, and then watching Philly lose as well, just get smoked was amazing.
Now, why is that? Is that because you didn't make the playoffs?
No, because if you're in the East, you hate every other team in your division. I'm pretty sure whatever division you're in, you hate every other team. Do you like the Eagles and the Giants?
No, but if
okay.
Dallas,
well, my point.
No, but if Dallas wasn't in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs, I would root for the Giants to win.
Really?
Of course, I'm from New York.
I don't think you know what
I absolutely. Wait a second. If Dallas doesn't make the playoffs, and I have to choose between New England and the Giants to
Why
win,
are you choosing?
Because I'm a fan. Wait a second. You could be a fan of the sport. Or let's be clear. If you're a football fan, you're a football fan.
Why don't you bring it down?
So you got to pick a team.
You
That's
can.
it.
You can be a fan of the sport. And if your team's out, you can still enjoy football.
And I can root for the Giants in the playoffs.
We're gonna put a poll on this for one of our clips.
I don't know. That sounds like a bam.
That is very.
Keep in mind, I'm a New Yorker, so of course I'm going to root for a New York team once my team is out.
So how'd you get hooked on Dallas in the first place?
So it was like back when like Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, like they were all on different teams. Yeah. Just so happened to be when I was younger, they all got traded onto Dallas, so they were like a dream team.
Yeah,
and that was when they won the 3 out of 4 Super Bowls.
Yep.
So,
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, other than that, I probably would have been. I probably would have been a Miami fan because my whole family's Miami fans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my grandfather was.
Yeah, but if the Dolphins, I mean, it's been tough.
Yeah, it has been tough for you guys.
I wouldn't be a Jaguars fan or anything like that, or
I would
Tampa.
I wouldn't be a Tampa fan.
The whole thing is this. Listen, most people probably wouldn't do that, but at the end of the day, keep in mind it's also because of where I'm from. So, of course, if a New York team is in the playoffs or going to the Super Bowl, I'm not rooting for Philly or New England or San Francisco. I'm going to root for a team from New York, and that would go for any sport.
How did you become a Dallas fan?
Because when was it we went? 5 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into football like that.
Yeah.
I moved around. Football. I moved from New York. I lived in the South Bronx and Washington Heights.
Oh, okay.
And then we moved to...
Real quick, can I just tell you how much I appreciate you calling Washington Heights the Bronx and not Manhattan?
Yeah. What's that?
Because it's not Manhattan.
No. I lived in the South Bronx, and then we moved to
Washington Heights, which is the Bronx.
Yeah.
It is not Manhattan.
I was born where all Dominicans born, New York.
Okay. From New York. You're from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So I moved around a lot, and so I moved from New York to Philadelphia, then Boston, then here.
Oh, damn.
So I'm very confused with sports teams.
Yeah.
Are you a sports fan of any team?
No.
Any sport?
And everybody's man, you look like a person that's into sports. Not into sports. She got me into sports.
Stereotype.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we started dating, I was like, babe, the football game's on, Miami's on. Let's watch it. And so I was like, yeah, get his ass. And he's like, what's wrong with you? Like, they can't hear you. I'm like, this is football. Like, what do you want me to be like?
Right. You're just like miming it.
Like
golf clap.
Yeah.
like.
Do you watch UFC?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the clip of the guy in the background? He goes, grab his dick.
Yeah. Yes.
Twist his dick off. Give him the old dick twist.
I want to get that T-shirt.
I watched it when Ken Shamrock, all those guys.
Yeah, when it first started
the
out.
beginning of it.
I love the UFC.
That was the best when it was the beginning. No rules.
Tank Abbott.
Yeah, Tank Abbott.
The Gracies.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was amazing back then.
Those guys would all get destroyed today, but it was fun watching.
I don't know if you guys got to see the documentary on the UFC. It's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. They were failing. Nobody wanted to give them the licensing to fight.
Oh, New York. It was like they were outlawing it. Yeah. It was a big deal.
Yeah, and the governor said yes, and then he flipped it on them and said no after they signed everything, got them to
college. Because they probably just had his constituents who were like, no, you can't do that, or we're going to pull donations from you.
They literally they just legalized UFC in New York like for UFC 200. It wasn't that long ago.
Wow.
Yeah, was that the first one at MSG?
I think so. Yeah, it was Conor McGregor, I believe.
Wow.
It was banned from New York for
forever,
for a long time. Like it wasn't current. They were like one of the last states to get on board.
It's not new at this point. I'd imagine just as strict as boxing. in regards to you were saying if
yeah.
they get knocked out, they can't compete for 6 months,
Right.
2 months,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
6 months. They go on 6 months suspension.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know
If
that
they get
either.
knocked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess for whatever it is, concussion, brain damage.
But
They do drug testing. They do all that stuff. It's regulated. It's controlled. There are
Mhm.
rules. In the beginning, I think everything but like eye gouging.
Was yeah.
Yeah, I
It
think
was-
like there's eye gouging and one other thing. I don't think you could elbow the back of the head.
no, you can't. You can't.
You still can.
Can't elbow the back
But
of
I
the
think
head.
those were the only two
Or
rules when
knee
it first
when they're
started.
down.
When they're down on
Yeah.
their
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's about
no
it.
eye. Now today you just can't do like it's called a 12 to 6
Oh, the elbow.
elbow.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only thing. That's John Jones's only loss.
Oh, really?
Just like a stupid mistake, just hit him.
Oh,
with, like,
yeah, that's right.
And the
that's
guy didn't.
right. Yeah,
he was
yeah.
a coward though, bro. He knew he was
Yeah.
gonna take the W.
Yeah.
That's why he did it.
Yeah.
Fucking-
I don't count that as a loss.
unfortunately, on his record, it shows
Yeah.
up as a
As a
loss.
loss, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, he'd be undefeated.
Which is insane. The
scumbag.
UFC.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
Yeah,
Really
like
is.
Anderson Silva. He was badass until
They
he
just
lost.
got
Yeah.
too old.
And then he got cocky.
He
too.
got
Remember he was
cocky.
Yeah.
dancing around. Somebody
Oh.
caught.
Remember when he was
Bow!
dancing? He got
Yeah.
clipped.
Yeah.
What? That was Chris Weidman.
Yeah.
Wider.
Yeah.
Weidman.
Chris Weidman. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was fucking around a little too much. Just kept his chin out
Yup.
for 1 second too long, and
Mhm.
He got a
that
little cocky.
show was over. Yeah. that
Oh, he
it.
was like this with his arms out, going like this.
His arm was straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy was he's so. I mean, listen, there was a time
He was
where
awesome.
he could get
Get
away,
away
with
with
it,
that, yeah.
but he was aging, and
Yeah.
his reflexes were just a little slower.
Yeah.
And that was it. He got
Yup.
caught,
Yeah.
and it really ended his career kind of because he never really recovered after that.
Didn't he snap his leg in the compound
Oh,
fracture
yes.
next one?
In the next
Yeah.
fight, in the rematch.
Yeah, dude. I remember watching and seeing his leg. So
Like a
he kicked
Twizzler.
the other shin, and his leg just kept going up and
Yep.
it bent. It was like
Oh.
that. And I was like, oh, that's not what you want.
The crazy
Oh
thing
my
is, it
God.
happened to Chris Weidman.
A couple fights later.
Yes,
no,
yes.
no, like 4 years later.
Same thing?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
So it happened to Anderson Silva fighting
Mhm.
Weidman in the rematch,
Mhm.
and then like 5 years later, it just happened
Yeah,
to Chris Weidman.
Well, they
Like,
started doing it because these kicks became so effective. Like
Yeah.
these guys who know how to kick. It's like
Oh,
getting hit
yeah.
with a baseball bat. So
Yep.
to check it, they started
Yeah.
throwing up their legs, and then shin on shin,
Shin.
someone's legs got to go.
That happened to McGregor
Like-
too, right?
Someone's
So
got
McGregor, it happened with his ankle,
With his
but
ankle.
like for him, what happened? I don't know how they let him fight. Was he had already previously gone into the fight with like a very hairline fracture in the ankle, which he
Oh.
should have never at that point been allowed to fight. So yeah, so he just kicked as soon as he stepped back on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty looking too.
I was watching that with your brother.
Oh.
His whole foot just
Yeah.
folded up toward his ankle. It was nasty, bro.
Like when you bend a Twizzler.
Oh.
That's a perfect analogy.
When you think your toe is bad, trust me, it could be a lot worse.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Like
There was the video I got. See if you can pull it up. The blonde woman. Her face looks like she got hit by a truck.
Oh, I
and she's
saw
like, "Oh
that.
yeah, this is a good time.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it again." And when I say,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Who
it
do you-
is
Looks
violent,"
like
Who
he
are
got
you
hit with a
talking about?
bat
there was
across
a UFC fighter. This blonde, I think it was UFC. This blonde woman.
I can't search this blonde woman in the UFC. There's
Well,
like
type-
50 of them. sorry, Robbie. Sorry, Robbie. You can do
Can
that.
we-
You can do that
I'm
search.
sure if you do
UFC blonde. That'd be like the whole roster.
Yeah, it's right here. I typed in UFC woman blonde beat up.
Who is it? Robbie found one of millions.
Taylor Starling.
What's her name?
So yeah, Google Taylor Starling. Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw that, man. And then they showed a before and after of her face, and you were like, "What the hell?"
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I
it's really
missed
bad.
it.
It's aggressive.
It's aggressive.
Yeah, it's not how you want to finish a fight. It's not how you want to look after a fight.
What's her name?
Taylor.
Anna Jacek. I forgot who she fought. She fought the Chinese girl. And
Oh,
did,
yeah, yeah.
Did you see her head?
Oh,
at the
she
end
got
of
the
the
yeah.
fight?
Yeah.
That was a couple years ago. Like 3
Yeah.
years ago.
She had a
Yeah,
like
big
ele-
knot.
elephant
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Taylor what?
Starling. STAR. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
I
all
think I
right.
just found the most positive person in the world.
Sterling, how are you feeling about this?
Oh my god.
Oh my
I'm super excited. It was really tough. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a different ballgame, but I had a blast.
Holy
Definitely a different.
Oh, it's bare
ballgame.
knuckle. It's not
Oh,
UFC.
Yeah, it's bare knuckle.
Positive person in the
Damn.
world.
Yo, if your girl is out there fighting bare knuckle,
I'm super excited. It was
That's
really
gangster
tough.
right there.
Yeah, bare knuckle is definitely.
oh god, she looks like she had a stroke. Left
Yeah.
side of her face doesn't work.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
am I laughing?
Damn.
it's pretty brutal. Bare knuckle's
I
rough.
shouldn't be
Yeah.
laughing.
I looked. What did you think was gonna happen?
I mean, listen, bare knuckle stuff. Not everybody comes out looking like that, but obviously her defense was off that day. You know,
Them hands up, baby.
She dropped those hands one too many times. So looking at that, so I mean, you guys are athletes, or athletes. So we were talking about like transgender women in athletics. It's like, what do you think about it? Like seriously, it's one of the topics that we've talked on. We get a lot of different feedback on it, but I mean, imagine like you saw what she looked like, female to female, right? So.
You imagine a guy beating a woman like that,
right?
It's called domestic abuse.
Yeah, her skull would have been wide open,
right? Like, look at what happened to her. Like, look at her fighting another woman.
They shouldn't be allowed. Period.
It shouldn't be allowed.
Hell no.
No.
There's no way. There's even I think I saw this multi-millionaire that's trying to put a high school basketball team against the WNBA. They will demolish the WNBA
right.
players.
He said, what was it? Let me pick a boys state championship team. I get to pick the team, and it'll be $1 million game. I'll wager $1 million on the guys, and if the WNBA, you can take the 5 best players. It's tough. I mean, it's just it's apples and oranges.
They did with the soccer team.
Yeah.
They put the 15-year-olds up against the professional women. And destroyed them.
Yeah. And then you see the men the older men, retire soccer players went against the U.S. team. I think
was a Wrexham, the retirees from the Wrexham team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the men did 11 consecutive goals. They couldn't do anything. The women were just getting demolished.
Yeah. No, I mean it's crazy that, and people think it's all right. Like,
no,
I
it's
just
not,
don't understand where anyone's coming from. Like, how could you possibly want to see and think it's okay to have a male born fighting or playing any sport against a woman?
Absolutely not.
Like it's wild to me. It's like it's a sacred space for women too.
Yeah.
Like why are you going to violate a space that should be for them and only
for
them?
just women.
Yeah.
Like I get that everybody's claim is like, oh well, they should be included. Like, okay, that's fine, but you can't exclude the women to make a group of people happy. You're going to completely ignore the feelings of an entire demographic of women in the world to make a substratus of people happy. Like, I don't get it. Why would you do that? What about their feelings? What about everything that they worked for?
Absolutely.
It makes no sense to me.
Yep. And that's why some of the women have completely said, I'm not competing anymore. They're done. If a male steps into their sport.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either.
Why would they ever want to put themselves through everything they put themselves through when they know they're going to lose? Like, why even do it? What are they training for? What are they working for at that point if they know they're going up against a level of competition that they just cannot overcome?
Right.
Well, for you, I mean, you do, bodybuilding, fitness shows. I don't want to, what's the proper term?
Bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding. So what if there was,
That's exactly what I was thinking when Chris was talking, was that it's like if someone were to come in, a man naturally produces testosterone, right? And it's easier essentially for them to make muscle mass,
develop muscle
mass, not like a woman that takes us years and years and years to develop it. And some women, it's hard for us to get muscle mass, right? So why am I going to put myself in a 4 or 5 months prep?
Your time, your energy,
my
your
time,
effort,
my
mindset.
energy, my money, everything, my mindset, which is the most important. And then I'm going to go in there and get demolished by someone who shouldn't be competing next to me. I don't think that's fair at all.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, like I said, you guys are athletes, so you know what it takes for a woman to try to achieve the same type of muscle building and everything that a man can. And it's much easier for us.
Exactly, yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's just even our muscle fiber difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easier for a man to put on muscle than it is for a woman.
And how much stronger you guys are than us. It's just, that's crazy to me. I'd probably walk out and not compete.
Yeah, like, look, I'm going to show you something. Look at this. This woman fought. She's a trans woman that fought in a fight. And then look, this is what's fucked up. What's crazy about it, what's messed up about it, is that then look at how she plays into it. So now you tell me, I'm not saying that everyone does this,
Okay.
but she absolutely, and I say she just out of respect for her pronoun, and you tell me that she's not competing for the sake of winning.
Your winner, by knockout, Alan Queen of Swords Hawks.
How you feeling right now? I'm feeling excellent. That was sweet, huh? Did you like that? Yeah. And I want to tell everyone else, I'm coming in this tournament. Every woman in this tournament better look out. I'm
Look
freaking
at this.
coming.
That's wild.
You heard it here, everybody.
Wow.
Fallon Fox coming for you in the ladies' tournament. Advance to the next round. Let's give it up one more time for Fallon Fox.
It's like 3 people cheer
Wow.
because they know what
Crazy,
time it is.
dude.
you know?
And she
Yeah.
just ran through everybody. Like I said, I'm not saying that that's what goes on, and that's not necessarily why they join sports.
No.
But what you're doing is you're opening up a window for people to take advantage of the system
Yeah.
and try to compete
Absolutely.
at a level where they know that they can win. And that's what's messed up about it, too.
Yeah. And like you said, like they don't even consider how we feel. They're just going off by that group. You know
Right.
what I mean? And what percentage is that group, baby said?
It's very small.
It's like
very
1%
min-
of 1%.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
small.
Yeah.
minimal, very minimal.
Right.
It's just agenda that they're just pushing on everybody, and it's pretty bad.
Well, that's what's crazy about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, they just want to push it, and they push
Yeah,
it, and they
Right.
push it, and they push it. And it's like they do it. They don't care about the discomfort of everybody else, right?
No,
The worst was Target selling the underwear for kids,
for the babies.
Oh,
for the
right.
babies with the slit there in the front.
It's wild, man.
For your
Yeah.
baby, man. Come on.
They were doing now with the bathrooms and I mean everything about it. The bathrooms, I forgot. My brother said this actually. I think they actually did this. I think this is where he got it from. I think somebody was like identifying as a cat at a high school.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
put a litter box in
Yeah.
high school.
That
Yes.
my buddy
Isn't
lives
that
in Long
crazy?
Island. He went inside the school, and the kid was a furry, and it was in the. They
In
had a
the
litter box.
Litter box.
My
Believe
boy
this
went.
shit?
He went ballistic in the school. The cops had to come get him. He pulled this kid out of the school.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's
What
like
parents allow this though?
yeah. I mean, listen.
What the?
Like gender's one thing, right? Like they're extreme too, but I mean, come on. Like animals, like you can't at some point you have to realize you're playing into a delusion,
Yeah.
right? Like and it's not healthy. You're perpetuating a problem that someone has. Like
Yes.
mentally
Yeah.
they
Who's
are not
allowing
stable.
that?
Right.
I don't understand who's allowed. Okay, he wants to be a cat. Let's allow him to be a cat. Who's allowing that? I don't get it.
Bro, let my kids come say you're gonna be a cat.
Isn't that nuts? Right.
Let them find out.
Right.
They will.
They won't even
You
be
tell
alive.
you want to be a cat? Well,
Yeah.
then pretend I'm a dog.
No,
I'm going
yeah.
to show you what happens.
Yeah.
But no, that's the other thing, right? That's the wildest part about it. Like, where are the parents in all of this? Like, it's one
They're
thing when
not.
someone's 18 years old. Like, there was the who I forgot who it was was a mother, and she was basically letting her 4-year-old transition into a woman. She was on the Piers Morgan show,
Wow.
and it was like, and he called her out on it. He's like, listen, he's like, it wasn't your daughter who decided to do this. Be honest.
Yeah.
It was you who made this decision for her. He was like, at 4 years old, the only decisions my daughter ever had to make was what she was going to watch, Barney or, what is it, what's the Toy
Peppa
Story?
Pig or
Like, whether
whatever.
she was going to watch Barney or Toy Story.
Yeah.
Like, those are the decisions my 4-year-old daughter made.
Right.
They don't even know enough about
anything.
themselves
Exactly.
or about male or female or gender to
They're
make
not
such
worried
a
about it.
decision.
Yep.
So you as a parent, how irresponsible are you? It's child abuse.
Yeah, absolutely.
It all starts from the home, though.
It does.
All of it. It all starts from it. Disrespect, how that kid is at school, bully, all of it. I mean, we go through all of it. We have 4 kids, and we see things, time after time after time, and it's just so frustrating. And we tell our kids this. We say, listen, it's not them, it's who's raising them. You know what I mean? Because my 10-year-old, he has a big heart, huge heart, and likes to help everybody.
The boys always do.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I tell him he can't be Captain Save-A-Ho. We can't be doing that.
Because it's
all
all
girls.
girls. It's
Yeah.
all girls.
It's all girls.
You got to check that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Poppy, you can't save every little girl that, that's in your classroom. You have to mind your own business that time. Like, yes, you have a big heart and I want you to help people, but you have to have, a certain boundary.
Right.
And so he'll be like, but why is this person like that? Why did he push her? Like, why is he a bully? Why does he do this? And I'm like, Poppy, you can't understand that. You'll never figure that out. But it usually does come.
The bullying is a big deal.
Yeah.
From the household.
Yeah, because again, it's difficult to say. Like, I shouldn't say difficult. It's easy for me to say, like, oh, well, I would do this if I had kids.
Yeah.
But if you found out, like, let's flip the script. Let's say you found out your kid was the one bullying, and
Yeah.
you check that real quick.
Oh hell yeah! I don't play that.
Yeah.
I had an incident with my son. This kid, he's in the eighth grade.
Yeah,
No,
eighth
eighth
grade.
grade, and my son's in the sixth grade. So my son's selling snacks. The kid came up to him and said, "Give me all your snacks, or I'm gonna have all my boys kick your ass." And I waited for the kid after school in the bus. It was not pretty for him.
Well,
His
tell
mom came, knocked on the door, apologized to my son, made her son apologize to my son, and gave him back a whole box of snacks.
That's a good
yeah,
mom.
actually
Yeah,
took it
that's
from
a
him.
That's a
great
good
mom.
mom.
That's
Yeah.
an awesome mom.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on with this society. None of these parents are checking their kids,
Yeah.
doing anything.
No.
I remember if the teacher called my school.
We talked about this.
Bro, my dad would have beat the
Yeah,
bricks
like,
out
you
of me.
need to die
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Because the teachers are infallible. And
Yeah.
now I think,
It's the
yeah.
opposite. Parents believe the kids before the teacher. They
but
don't
again,
get
like
the-
my mom would
yeah.
stand up for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But she also let me know when.
Yeah.
Oh
was in the
yeah,
wrong.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
to,
so you
to a
defend your
degree,
kids.
like to a degree.
Yeah.
Like, you obviously stand up for your kids, but you also got to find out what the story is. You can't just assume that the teachers
Oh yeah,
Of
yeah,
are,
course.
picking on your children. Like for
And
one,
maybe they are.
why?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe
It could be.
Most
it could.
cases they're not though. So you
No.
investigate.
Yeah.
You don't just jump onto your kid's side. Like I
Yeah.
get it, we want to protect our kids,
Yep.
but at the same time, you need to. The way you truly protect them is by teaching them how to live properly and how to
Absolutely.
act in public. Teach them the
Social
difference.
settings. Yeah.
Right. So socialize them,
100%.
teach them the difference between right and wrong, and you have to reprimand them when they're doing something that's wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
We have two teachers in our family, and they're like, we have to raise the kids. The parents even
Don't raise
call
them.
us. They're raising their
Yeah.
kid. They're like, we can't talk back. We can't say anything to them. They can't say anything. We get sued.
I remember though, even as,
Yeah.
as a kid, thinking about like, because I think they taught sex ed. Was it in our school? Was fifth grade, fourth
Mhm.
grade?
Yeah,
fifth
yeah.
grade?
It's
Yeah.
fifth grade, yeah.
Why aren't the parents teaching?
yes.
That? Why is the school teaching kids about sexuality or anatomy?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the parents'
Parents-
gig? Like, I get
Yeah.
it. Maybe you're not great at multiplication or long division or trigonometry.
Right.
Most people aren't.
No.
Like you have specialists, but
Right.
comes to sex, like I feel like I would be capable, not comfortable, but capable of
Yes.
having uncomfortable conversations.
You should be.
I imagine that's half of your job
Yeah.
as parents.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Having
Absolutely.
uncomfortable conversations.
Absolutely.
You have to. That's how you teach them. That's how they learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we can't sit here and beat around the bush and not tell them how life is,
Right.
you know? And it's just like what you say, like whether you're right, you're wrong, you have to be taught both. Because if you're in the wrong, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you're in the wrong. Okay, next time, make sure to do it better. Fuck that. No. Like, you're going to deal with the consequences today so you learn. You
And
know what I
negative
mean?
emotions are okay too.
Oh,
Like that
absolutely.
feeling of guilt, of
course.
shame, those feelings, those emotions are extremely valuable.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure at some point in everyone's life they felt it, and it's a
Yeah.
really, really powerful feeling. But it prevents you from, in a perfect world, unless you're like a sociopath, you're like, oh, that wasn't right. Like
Right.
I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass other people. Like shame and guilt, they're not great feelings, but they're vital. They're
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
They do.
100%.
They dictate your behavior a lot.
Absolutely.
As you grow up, as you get older and mature,
Yep.
they do. Making
Yeah.
sure you avoid situations like that is learned.
Of
You know,
course.
You're not born knowing what the consequences to every situation. There are things you have to learn, right? And then you need your parents to guide you as you come up, so that you understand it. So that
Mhm.
as you get older and you're on your own and you separate from your parents more and more,
Right.
you understand through them how
Yeah.
to act.
Got that skill set.
Right, you do. You develop that skill set, those morals that your parents
Yeah.
instill in you from a very young age, and then you know how to conduct yourself when you go away to college. When you're dating someone for the first time and it's serious, and you know how to handle yourself. You know how to treat women if it's a guy. You know how to treat
Mhm.
your boyfriend if you're a woman, and you hope that you wind up being a good person.
But that's how we show our kids. For example, if we fight, we don't fight in front of them. We wait until we get into our bedroom, or we walk a lot. So we'll go outside and I'll be like, listen, mother. No, just kidding. But we wait to talk. We don't yell at each other
Yeah.
in front of them. We don't do any of that in front of them because
Kids
we don't
suck
want,
that up.
Yes,
Oh,
they
yeah.
do.
They
Traumatizes
do.
them.
And
Yeah.
we don't want them to think that that's okay.
That's the norm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Right.
that's the norm.
Yeah.
But it's difficult at times. And like you said, we have to have uncomfortable conversations. But
Well, that's just it. The uncomfortable
Yeah.
conversations. Like
Oh.
even in the workplace, like, again, let me stop saying what I wouldn't do as a parent without kids. When I worked as a bank manager,
Right.
sometimes you have to have uncomfortable conversations with your staff. When
Yes.
they do something wrong. It's
Mhm.
always so much easier to say, hey, look, you did a great job, Mo. Like, awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you killed that. great service. You followed our process. It's much more difficult going like, look, you kind of fucked up. Like, we need to have a conversation about this and just put a game plan in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. But they're imperative. They need to happen. And if they're not, how can you grow? How can you learn? If you don't, always said, if you don't know what's wrong, like, how can you grow and evolve? So I always told my staff, if I'm doing something wrong, if I'm doing something that's bothering you, upsetting you guys, just tell me. Let's have a conversation about it. But I can't change or fix something if I don't know that it's broken.
Right.
Absolutely.
But those are the difficult conversations. But like you said, a lot of parents aren't having them. A lot of teachers are having them.
They're not, and I don't know why. I mean, it's wild to me. I know how parents change so much. And the crazy thing is, a lot of these parents today are our generation.
Right. It was the ones who went through
which is wild, because it'd be like me, right? Like having children and
so I'll tell you one thing.
Like that.
You got a theory?
No. My dad is going to be 66 this year, and he has a 3-year-old. He's going to be 66. So I'm like,
fuck retirement.
So my little brother comes to my house, and he's wild. He's jumping with the shoes on my couch and all, and he's screaming. I look at my dad and I'm like, Dad, you never used to let us. If we were to do that, you would take your belt off and you'd be like,
your dad's checked out.
That's what
he lost his edge.
That's it. He got soft on
because he's
you.
a grandparent and a parent now.
Yeah. The grandparents always get softer on the children.
Oh yeah,
they really do.
Bro, I would be 1 minute late. I would have this huge bruise.
You have a welt.
Yes. I'm like, what's going on now? I'm like, my little brother could do whatever the hell he wants. And before we'd be studying for school. He'd be like, I told you not to do that. I'd be like, fuck.
Oh, we could sit here and trade war stories from our parents all day long. I mean, check us out on IG, NotForNothing.podcast. And TikTok at Not For Nothing Podcast. Check her out on IG at one.mighty.mama. She's got a super like safe space on IG for women just starting out their fitness journey. So you definitely want to check it out. She's got a gym apparel line coming out. You can check it out at OneMightyMama Co. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap it up here for today, but thank you as always. We hope you enjoyed the show. Definitely do not forget to tune in next week for part 2 with your favorite One Mighty Mama and her husband Mo as we continue to discuss the topics you heard here today. It's going to be a great episode. We're looking forward to it. As always, thank you for the support and feedback, and we will see you next week.